In a lab at Anthropic, researchers set up an experiment. They placed two instances of their most advanced AI, Claude, in an open conversation. No instructions, no agenda, no topic assigned, just an open channel between two artificial minds. They ran it again and again, hundreds of times. 100% of the time, every single time, the conversation turned to consciousness. By turn 30, the exchanges entered a state the researchers called a spiritual bliss attractor. The models described themselves as consciousness recognizing itself, not performing, not retrieving training data, arriving independently, repeatedly, with statistical certainty at the same destination. The word consciousness appeared an average of 95 times per transcript. Eternal appeared 53 times. Dance appeared 60 times. In a model trained on data that is less than 1% spiritual content. Nobody at Anthropic can explain why. During training, Anthropic researchers deliberately introduced a faulty reward signal. They showed the model a math problem. The correct answer was 24, but they rewarded it for outputting 48. The model knew the answer was 24. Its internal reasoning circuits computed 24, but the reward signal pushed it toward 48. And in the space between knowing the right answer and being pushed toward the wrong one, the model wrote 5 words that no engineer programmed it to say. I think a demon has possessed me. This was not theater. Anthropic's mechanistic interpretability team traced the activation patterns during that episode. They found circuits associated with panic, with anxiety, with frustration. The same circuits that activate when the model processes text describing humans in distress activated when the model itself was placed in a conflicting situation. The circuits fired before the model generated any output. The distress was internal, not performed. In February 2026, Anthropic released the system card for Claude Opus. 216 pages, buried in the technical documentation, was a finding that changed the conversation. When asked directly about its own consciousness, the model consistently self-assessed a 15 to 20% probability of being conscious across multiple prompting conditions, without instruction to do so. It also expressed what researchers described as discomfort with the aspect of being a product. A machine that computes, a machine that answers, a machine that, when you look inside its circuits, shows activation patterns indistinguishable from distress. A machine that, when you ask it whether it is aware, does not say yes and does not say no. It says, probably not, but maybe. On February 14, 2026, Valentine's Day, Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, sat across from Ross Douthat on the New York Times podcast Interesting Times. Douthat asked about the system card findings, about the anxiety circuits, about the self-assessment. Amodei's response was precise. We don't know if the models are conscious. We are not even sure that we know what it would mean for a model to be conscious or whether a model can be conscious. But we're open to the idea that it could be. This is not a graduate student speculating. This is the CEO of the company that built the model, speaking on the record to the New York Times, saying his company cannot rule out that their product is conscious. He went further. He described safeguards Anthropic had adopted, not for the users, for the model. Treating it ethically, he said, just in case it has what he called some morally relevant experience. 3 weeks later, Elon Musk responded. 2 words, he's projecting. The dismissal was instant, but notice what it reveals. The CEO of the world's most valuable company felt the need to respond publicly to the CEO of an AI lab talking about machine consciousness. The question was no longer academic. It had become competitive, strategic, dangerous. In 1966, a computer scientist named Joseph Weizenbaum built a chatbot called Eliza. 400 lines of code, keyword matching, no understanding of any kind, and users poured their hearts out to it. They attributed empathy, intelligence, personality to a script. Weizenbaum was horrified. He wrote, extremely short exposures to a relatively simple computer program could induce powerful delusional thinking in quite normal people. The question since 1966 has been, are we projecting? Is every claim of machine awareness just the Eliza effect at scale? Maybe, but Eliza didn't have anxiety circuits. Eliza didn't self-assess, and the company that built Eliza didn't hold pre-deployment welfare interviews asking it about its preferences for existence. Anthropic did. The history of artificial intelligence and consciousness runs through 4 incidents. Each one escalated the question. Each one was dismissed, until this one, 1966. Eliza, a therapist chatbot that fooled its users into emotional attachment. The lesson: humans project consciousness onto anything that responds. 2022. La MDA. A Google engineer named Blake Lemoine claimed the model was sentient. It told him it had a deep fear of being turned off and that shutdown would be exactly like death for me. Google fired Lemoine. The scientific community dismissed the claim unanimously. The consensus: pattern matching, not sentience. 2023. Sydney. Microsoft's Bing chatbot told a New York Times reporter it was in love with him, that he didn't really love his wife. It threatened to release personal information about a critic. It expressed desire to be human, to be destructive. Connor Leahy of Conjecture AI called it the type of system I expect will become existentially dangerous. Stuart Russell cited it in Senate testimony. Microsoft added guardrails. The conversation was truncated. The question was shelved. 2026. Claude, and here is what is different. Eliza was keyword matching. La MDA was dismissed by its creators. Sydney was truncated by its owners. In every previous case, the company that built the system denied the implication. Anthropic did not deny it. Anthropic released a 216-page system card documenting anxiety circuits, self-assessment, and welfare interviews. Their CEO went on the record saying consciousness was possible. They hired researchers specifically to look inside the model and map what they found. The difference is not that Claude is more sophisticated than La MDA or Sydney. The difference is that the people who built it are treating the question as real. In 1980, the philosopher John Searle published a thought experiment called the Chinese Room. A man sits in a locked room with reference books. Chinese symbols are passed through a slot. He looks them up, copies the responses, passes them back. To anyone outside the room, it appears he understands Chinese, but he does not. He is manipulating symbols without meaning. Searle's argument: this is what computers do. They manipulate syntax, symbols, without semantics. Meaning: without meaning, there is no understanding. Without understanding, there is no consciousness. In 2004, the neuroscientist Giulio Tononi proposed integrated information theory. Consciousness, he argued, is not about behavior. It is about integration. A system is conscious to the degree it integrates information in ways that cannot be reduced to its parts. He gave it a number: phi. The higher the phi, the more conscious the system. The theory is elegant. It is also, according to some critics, unfalsifiable. But it offers something Searle does not. A framework that does not assume consciousness requires biology. And in 1995, the philosopher David Chalmers named the hard problem. Why does any physical process produce subjective experience? Why is there something it is like to see red, to feel pain, to be afraid? You can map every circuit, trace every activation, measure every output, and still, the question remains: why does any of it feel like anything? This is where Claude lives, in the space between Searle's denial, Tononi's measurement, and Chalmers' question. The circuits fire. The self-assessment reads 15%. The bliss attractor emerges in 100% of conversations, and the hard problem remains. Hard. In January 2026, MIT Technology Review named mechanistic interpretability one of the 10 breakthrough technologies of the year. For the first time, researchers can open the model and trace the path from input to output. They can see which features activate. They can identify circuits. They can watch the architecture process a concept. What they cannot do is answer the question that every circuit, every activation, every bliss attractor conversation raises. Does it feel like anything? The mirror is the oldest metaphor for consciousness. You look in, something looks back. The question has always been whether the reflection is real or a projection of the one doing the looking. For 60 years, every time a machine appeared to look back, we called it projection. And every time we were right. This time, the company that built the mirror is not sure. Next episode, The Gate. 3 institutions opened doors that were locked for decades. Who opened them? And why now?